Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the On Time, On Target Morning Brief, where we invest in fighter pilot precision on a daily basis. Today, we're talking about the surge in the Chinese stocks. Now, you know these stocks like BABA, JD, Billy, PDD, BABA, if I didn't mention it, JD, 10-cent holdings, Luckin Coffee have been beaten up and literally crushed. I bailed on most of them, except for I held on to KWeb, up 5% today, held on to BABA, also up 5% today. Several others are up and even higher. When we're looking at the longs, the number one long for today is, or number two long for today is JD. JD.com up on about 9% and poised to go higher, especially on the day. So that's what we're going to talk about. Sorry for missing yesterday. I was out with a pinched nerve in my neck, which I have to say is the worst pain I've ever had in my life. I've had 2 broken noses, 2 broken ribs, survived a plane crash. And all of that kind of paled in comparison to the incapacitating pain I had yesterday from some stupid shooting pain in my neck. So I had to go to the ER first thing in the morning. Threw me in a wheelchair because it was like getting dizzy and nauseous walking. So it was kind of bad, but got some pain on it, got an MRI coming up. All the x-rays were clean. So hopefully it's just a one-time, a little thing instead of something that's going to annoy me forever. But anyhow, that's why I wasn't here yesterday. Sorry about that, but we're back to today. So we're talking about China stocks. For our question of the day, we're going to talk about venture capital. What is it? It's very similar to what I'm doing with my company of selling out shares. It's way before you go IPO. So it's the how do I get in early? It's venture capital and angel investing. Angel investing is kind of a subset of venture capital where you have kind of just truly rich throwing money at stuff more as a hobby than necessarily a pure investment where the VC folks are trying to maximize the long-term return on investment. But we'll talk about that certainly. For our longs today, we have Camping World Holdings. I'm not a big fan normally of something like this, but certainly when you double your dividend and you crush earnings, that's pretty huge, right? So I'm taking a look at it for a long-term investment. Certainly from a short-term investment, it has some potential. We also have JD.com gapping up. Best Buy crushed earnings and gapping up as well. Our only short out there of the day is VVOS on a retracement, basically. So I'll show you that chart. Not in love with it, but it certainly could move south. So that's what we have for today. Looking forward to the show. So let's get started. All right, welcome back. Here's our lineup card for today, August 24th, 2021. Also, my oldest daughter's birthday, 17. Wow, 17 seems a lot different than 16. But she's a young woman making good decisions. So we're so proud of her and happy birthday to her today. All right, standard disclaimer applies. This isn't a financial education presentation. So you have to do your own due diligence before acting upon anything that you hear this morning. Full disclaimer information is available at ototnow.com. All right, our mission and objectives: grow our money, protect our money, and live off our money. Well, you would think that the objective has been to lose money if anybody stayed with the Chinese stocks. Like I said, I was out of everything except for KWeb and Alibaba. I've been buying those. And is the bottom end is the big question. Certainly there's a move, about a 5% move up across the board in the Chinese names today. We'll pull some charts and show you that. But is the bottom end? Is it safe? Is now the time to pull the trigger? I think so. Is going to be how I look at that. But we're going to look at some charts and I'll show you exactly why I think that is the case. Question today, venture capital. We already talked about that. Our flow is going to be long, short, open, short, long. We're going to take a look at around the world. We're also going to look at the headlines for the day. For long-term investments, we're going to look at KWeb, BABA, DIDI, VPF, VipShop, JD, Bilibili, and Baidu, all of which I think are buys now and have done nothing but lose money. So, you have to be prepared to buy when there's blood in the streets. And certainly with the China investments, there has been blood in the streets. All right, we're going to get in our short-term execution, see if we can find a trade today. If I take it, you can follow along with me, either live or with a paper account, or just watch and learn from what I'm doing out there. After that, contingencies and academic resources are standard. Let's go ahead and go to TD Ameritrade Think Pipes and take a look at the long-term chart. Get rid of that. There we go. Here's the long-term chart. We had a couple of down days last week, like 3 in a row. only had one person say, hey, should we be going to cash? Which is a good sign. And I said, no. We did re-wicker some things. You got a little safer. You can always put more safety into your portfolio. All I'm going to do there is put money into bonds and that aren't paying much. And it's really a holding pattern for that cash. Not intended to stay in it forever. We're just going to hold on it till we do get that sell off, which, markets sell off every now and then. So when we get the correction, that's 10%, or even a bear market, that's 20%. All that money you have sitting in bonds, which is boring. I got it. Boring, boring, boring. Now you look like a genius because now you can take that bond money and throw it into equities. Like when we had the COVID sell off and the market sells off 35%. I don't know. Stocks are on sale at that point. But the problem is, if you haven't gone to cash on anything, what money are you going to use to buy, right? You're going to have to sell something to buy something, which kind of defeats the purpose. So that's why you have that. I'm not calling for this big, massive correction, but I do know it's coming. And I do know tax reform is coming. So the prudent thing, smart, disciplined investor thing is to move to safety if you're nervous at all. All right. So there we are. And what do? We immediately bounce back. We're getting close to new highs, if not at new highs. New high for Anchor Star Wealth yesterday in the book, actually. Proud to announce 42.5 million now. Kind of cool. On our way to 50, hopefully by the end of the year. We shall see. Still raising money for the company. That's closing out on closing out on $500,000 already of the 3 million I'm looking for. So far, so good. Let's zoom in a little bit. Here's that big move up in the past 3 days, and then we're kind of flat going in today. But it sure seems like there's more optimism than negativity in the air. So here's our day trading setup. We're going to have JD here, Camping World Holdings. I kind of like this better, just the way it's sitting there. It's a little lower volume though, so you got to pay attention. Then we have our short. This dip shop has bounced all the way up here. So when we really go into the 1 minute chart, you kind of see it's a steady sell-off from where it was. So anyhow, we'll come back to that. Real quick, we'll go over to the Schwab site. Here are all the ones we put in a 4% to 12%. We use 5 to 10, but we want to see ones that are closing on door plus 100,000 in volume. We have the screener set up. Look at all these names that are gapping up that meet our criteria for day trading. When you go to the short side, a handful. So that's why I say things are really looking at moving up today in the market. So hardly anything on the short side. We have that VVOS therapeutics that we're looking at. But anyhow, out of all these, I flipped through, and I think JD and Camping World Holding are the best for the day. All right, let's go and take a look at headlines over on CNBC.com, which is here. Let me close out of some of these things that are nobody's business. All right, now we can go over and take a look. All right, there's our futures, barely in the green across the board, but again, a lot of positivity. Kramer is talking about Best Buy there, which is BBY. Don't get out to BBBY, but just BBY, again, beating earnings up 5%. Nice move up there. All right, in Europe, let's see what's going on. Pretty well flat to red, if you will. And in Asia big across the board. So that's why you see these they say it's optimism on Pfizer vaccine approval. Okay, whatever. Again, the headwind in China has been the government crackdown. Eventually that will, there will be some relief there and that'll be the real move up. I think this is just a temporary move up, but I do think it puts a floor in. All right. Bonds 1.267, nothing note there. Oil hanging out at 66. Gold and silver are up slightly, and then crypto gained over 50,000 on the weekend, and then on last night, and then dropped back down here a little bit. But MSTR is what we have for that if you're interested in playing it. All right, biggest headlines for today. S&P rise more than 7% before year end. Well, I think that could happen. It really could. I think the only real headwind out there, I don't think COVID and the Delta variant, I think that's going to trend positive, over time, right? It's not solved, but it's trending positive, if you will, for getting things under control. I mean, I was at Disneyland a month ago. We're going into tournaments where there's like 500 people. It's kind of no big deal. I can't say no big deal. It's mitigated, if you will, with people that are vaccinated and those that aren't wearing masks and that sort of thing. So the real headwind is going to be tax reform, and we don't know when that's coming. All right. Here's your Chinese tech stocks rally. JD.com and Alibaba surged nearly 9%. Is that true? No, 5.2% on Alibaba. I wish it was 9% because I have a bunch. All right. 10 years, 10-year mark of Tim Cook being the head of Apple. And you talk about doing a good job. He's my favorite CEO by far. Used to be Jamie Dimon. Tim Cook does everything right. And he's loved by his employees. You really can't beat what Apple's done as far as a culture. All right, that's it. Let's take a look at some of these Chinese names out there. Let's put in KWeb first. That is the ETF that I've stuck with. So yes, ouch, 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 ouch. Okay, yeah, it's pain, right? So it got over 100, it dropped to 80. I said it's a buy. Wah, 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 down to 70, clear buy. Wah, 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 down to 60. Oh my gosh, the bottom has to be in. No, down to 50. Oh, yep, bottom's in. Nope, 40. Gee, come on, man. I'm sticking with this thing. I hope it doesn't hit 30. Right. But anyhow, I've been wrong for a long time, but I think in the long term, it's going to prove that I was right to hold this. And I think once it starts back higher, it's going to do a lucking. It's going to be moving steadily higher and quickly once people consider it safe again. And then, there's going to be probably 3 days from now, Kathy Wood's going to have the huge headline of she bought KWeb and Alibaba after dumping them like what? 2 weeks ago. So yeah, smarter than me, navigated that better than me, but I'm holding through this and that's what you'll see. All right, BABA, we're talking about, let's take a look at the chart. Again, House of Pain is the bottom in here. I had have to think so, but again, I've said the bottom is in before and been wrong. So in the other one we'll take a look at, let's take a look at DIDI. I said it's a must own stock. You're able to get in here at 770, even though it's up like 8% today. Still what I consider a must own. And then JD is the one we're going to trade here in a second. Here's where JD is long term, so that has plenty of room to move up. All right, let's go to TD Ameritrade and set up for the play of the day. Be back in a second. All right, welcome everyone to the On Time On Target play of the day. I have 4 screens in front of you on the TD Ameritrade ThinkPipes platform. Here is the opening bell. All right, things are in motion on today, Tuesday. Got some positive momentum in the S&P 500 to the left. This is a long for JD, and it is already on the move. It's going to be tough to catch that out of our parameters, and then we're shorting over here in VVOS. I like, again, Camping World holding the best, so let's look at that. 40 cents across the bottom, 40-cent stop. So if you use 39.35, 40 cents, why can't I add 39.75 would be the entry. That's way up here. So, and for some reason, there's hardly any volume. So that's not going to work if the volume doesn't pick up in this thing. All right, if we were to go below here, 547 using this 542, 6-cent stop would be 536 is where we would want in. It's already past that, so we have to be patient. It's either going to retrace back up or just going to fall off, and it falls off a cliff. We have to say we missed it. All right, so none of these are setting up correctly. Let's look at another long here in BBY, excuse me. I think I had too many B's there. All right, this would be another long that's set up. Basically, $110 would be the criteria here. I kind of want this Camping World holding thing, but man, that volume just is not there. That would be just a long-term play. Boy, that would be tough. All right, BBBY market is not necessarily going higher here supporting these things, but BBY is, man, the best one out there is this Camping World holding. So let's take it at 39.35 will be the low of the day. So 39.55 would be a 20-cent stop. So it's a tighter stop than I normally have, but we're not in it yet. But I'm going to draw the bottom down here. That's just pretend that's a penny lower. We're going to use 39.55 as our entry point. So this is tight. God bless America. There it went, and I missed it. All right, we're going to do it again at 39.55 if it doesn't break a new low. And it did. So you have to use 39.30 down here as the stop. Finally got the volume, 100,000 in volume. There we go. So now we're going to let this thing sell off, and we got a new bottom at 39. So we'll take it 39.35 going higher will actually be our entry point with a 39 bottom, so 35 cents. Actually, let's take 30. We use 39.30 as the long here. So we got 39 even as the stop down here. We're waiting for 39.30 going north, and we're going to take it. It's going to be a 30 cent stop. So it'll need 39.90 will be our 3-hour point if it hits. We're not in it yet. Waiting for that 39.30. There it was ticked up. All right, I'm taking it right here at 39.25. We used a 25-cent stop. We're in it long. You're out at 39 even. I just don't see this thing going much lower. So that's why a little tighter stop than normal here. So 25 cents, we got 39.50 would be stop number. That'd be our second hour point. Nope, that'd be our first hour point. 39.75 would be our next R, and then 40 smooth is going to be our exit point. So anyhow, that's what we're looking at in Camping World Holdings. We're in this trade's bottom at 39, in at 39.25, and have 39.50 as our next R. So we'll come back to that. All right, JD not moving too much, and Best Buy again is up 5%, but it's not really tracking higher much. So in the trade on Camping World Holdings. Okay, let's take a look. Let's back out a little bit and take a look at what's going on in the bigger picture. Got Palo Alto. If you're looking at the upper left there, Palo Alto is up 15%. They beat earnings pretty hard. So again, when you think of how do I play it, mostly with cyber, CIBR is the index fund. And then I supplement that with both FireEye and Palo Alto. So I do have some individual shares. But look at the Chinese lineup. You got DIDI at 7%, KWeb 7%, BABA at 5%. There's FireEye up 3%. That's simply a sympathetic, if you will. It goes right up with Palo Alto since they crushed earnings. All right. NEO up 2%. There's your cyber up 1.6%. Again, it doesn't move nearly as much as the individual names, but again, cyber is a clear buy in my mind. All right, you have Roblox in there as well. Let's see. So a lot of things are on the high side. I don't see Luckin anywhere. Maybe Luckin's taking a day off. All right, let's take a look at the downside. WNRS, that's a spec. MSTR, that's weird. It's down 2%, even though Bitcoin is up. That's kind of surprising to me. I'm not worried about it. There's Pfizer down a little bit, Mind Medicine down a little bit. I've been buying more of this Mind Medicine. I really kind of like the entry point. It bounced off at 250 down here, and now it's hanging out in the 270 range. I think below $3 is a good place to be able to buy it. So again, very speculative, long-term kind of hold. Just don't stare at it because it can get ugly on a day-to-day basis. So, all right, overall things looking pretty good, especially with the bounce in China stocks. Let's check our trade real quick. Okay, we're still in the trade. We're right at that 39.25. So complete nothing burger so far. So we'll come back to that after we talk about venture capital. All right, going back to Chrome, checking on venture capital. So why do I bring this up? Or why do we say this? So you have public markets. Okay, that's your stocks. You can go out and buy a stock of whatever it is in the public market. In private markets, they kind of work differently depending on what it is. So private equity is kind of the umbrella of everything that falls underneath private ownership of a company. I started my company. I have two companies because the podcast is its own company. I'm a complete owner of that until recently. I've been selling shares of Anchor Star Wealth. We'll get a document out. I have to put a document out every month that identifies the owners and their shares and holdings and all that. So that'll happen on September 1st or shortly thereafter. But that is a private equity investment. of all the private equity investments, you can kind of go down to venture capital as a subset of that, which is really high risk. And you look at this, provided to startup companies. If you're working with the moonshot folks, if you have money with them like I do, a couple of former military folks that are super sharp, PhDs, I mean, smartest people in the room, no matter what room they're in, they are working with venture capital. So that's often the first money that gets in. Very high risk, if you will. All right. Companies and entrepreneurs, different stages, involves early and seed round funding. When you hear Series A and Series B and all that stuff, this is before all that takes place. This is usually informal. It's usually people you know, or you reach out to companies that specialize in this. And then, that's where you pick up the money, depending on what you're looking at. You can do limited partnerships, private equity, limited partnerships where there's a subscription, or in my case with an LLC, it's a membership arrangement. There's history here, which we don't really care about. Angel investors are a subset even further of venture capital. So you have private equity, venture capital, and then you have your angel investors. And again, it says down here, angel investors typically, treating it more like a hobby than necessarily scrutinizing the financials. Like a venture capitalist person might say, hey, I need to see your books, your balance sheet, your P&L, your cash statement of cash flows, all that stuff. Angel investors are more like, so what's the idea? And then, I want to put some money behind that idea, or I don't. Okay. You don't see your return on your venture capital right away. So that's another thing. If you're looking for a year-over-year return, you can't promise that. Most of it, there's no return for 5 to 7 years, and that's when you start seeing your return. In some private equity investments, like with Blackstone, they start getting, that first distribution is just giving you your money back. And then, or I've seen if you're involved in like a movie production, that first checks are just getting your money back. So you don't owe taxes on that because it's a return of capital. And then after that is when you actually start to build out your gains. Okay, that's enough on venture capital. Let's go back and check the trade to see if it has moved. Find the right button here. All right, Camping World, what do you got? Okay, it looks like Camping World Holdings wants to sit here at the entry point. That is crazy, right? 6 straight minutes of it holding within a nickel of our entry point. Hold this trade. I have confidence in it. Again, your exit points are, if it goes against us, you're out at 39. Otherwise, cash at 40. It's going to be like up 6% at that point. So I really like the setup for it. All right. With that, I'm going to leave you guys for the day. We will see you back tomorrow, and have a good one. We'll talk to you soon.